What's up guys, it's Meg. Today we're talking about the latest addition to the Walking Dead universe, Fear the Walking Dead's pilot episode that aired last night. What did you guys think of this episode? I have been so excited thinking about what will happen in the new Fear the Walking Dead series. I've always loved apocalyptic type movies, zombie shows, zombie movies, anything like that that has to do with the end of the world, even if it's not a zombie apocalypse. I love the movies like 2012 and all of those ones. I can't think of any of the other names at the moment, but I love apocalyptic movies, so I was really anticipating this, sorry for the noise out there, this premiere episode. And I loved it. It didn't fail me at all. I've heard a lot of talk from people who, it seems there's no middle ground. You either hated the episode or you hated that there wasn't enough action in it, or you loved it and thought it was perfect. I am kind of in the camp where I loved it. I thought it was great. I was not expecting action. This is a brand new series. We don't know these characters at all, so we have to spend time getting to know them, otherwise we're not going to care about them. So this episode revolves around Nick, the son of Madison. He's a drug addict, and he wakes up and he sees some pretty crazy stuff in this old abandoned church that he was in. And this whole episode kind of revolves around whether or not he's crazy, whether or not he was hallucinating when he saw, his friend eat another person, or, was it the drugs, or did it really happen? And that is the basis for us getting to know these characters. So we have Madison and Travis, who are boyfriend-girlfriend. They're in a relationship. They just moved in together. And this is Madison's son, and she's used to this. He's apparently been doing this for a long time. And Travis is, coming into this with kind of a fresh perspective. He's been in a relationship with her. He knows how Nick is, but he's also able to kind of take an outside perspective on it. And by the end of this episode, the family comes to realize that maybe Nick wasn't so crazy after all, that there's definitely something happening, and there's definitely a basis to what he saw. Like I said, this was a great pilot episode. There was just enough paranoia and kind of hints at the oncoming disaster to get us wondering what's going to happen, and to see kind of the paranoia setting in a little bit throughout the city, but not enough for everybody to realize what's going on. It's kind of just hinting here and there, and then there was a lot of just getting to know these characters. So I thought it was a perfect combination of getting to know the characters, the character development, as well as hinting at the impending apocalypse coming. So I thought I would go through the characters one by one, the ones that we've met so far. We have Nick, who the most of the episode was based around him. I really liked the acting. He really portrayed to me what I would expect a drug addict who just saw something really crazy and isn't sure if he's just insane or if it was true to act, And I thought his facial expressions were great. I love that he was so expressive when he spoke and when he was really thinking about what happened. His acting was the acting for Nick was really well done. Travis and Madison have a really cute, realistic relationship, I think. They're funny, she's sarcastic. I really liked the part where Travis started getting sentimental with her, and he was like, she told him to stop, and he was like, he said, "Did you just throw up in your mouth a little?" And she's like, "Yeah, a little." And I just died laughing at that, because it's such a realistic thing to say to someone, when you're close to them, and you're like, "Don't get mushy with me, I don't need this right now." I liked that. I liked that they threw it in there, because so far the episode had been pretty serious. And so we got to see kind of a lighter side of things and kind of the dynamic of their relationship, that she's kind of seems to be more of a cut and dry person. She's seen a lot of, she's seen everything that Nick's gone through over the years, so she is not able to stay as positive as she would like about him and what he's doing. So it was nice to see a little bit of a lighthearted situation there, and some humor. We also saw very briefly an interaction between Travis and his ex-wife Liza, and their son Chris. we kind of get hints at their broken relationship. You know, they've got a divorce, they have a son together, but Chris obviously is not happy about what's going on. He's not happy about his dad building a new relationship with someone else, starting a new family, leaving his mother behind. And we get a very small peek of that in this episode, and it definitely piques our interest I want to know more. I want to know, why doesn't Chris, you know, is there more to the story? Why doesn't Chris want to at least visit his dad? At the moment, I'm not super fond of Alicia. She's fine and all. She didn't really pique my interest too much. I have a feeling I'll start to like her eventually. I did really enjoy the interaction between Nick, her brother, and herself in the hospital bed where she was feeding him the Jell-O. It showed a softer side of Alicia. Up until that point, she'd been pretty hard on her brother and the fact that he'd fallen into this pattern yet again. But it showed us a softer side, and I liked that. We also get to meet Tobias. Now, this kid knows what's up. I want to be his friend in the apocalypse. He's ahead of the game. I don't know how he knows, but he spends a lot of time on the internet, and it is a good thing because he knows exactly what's happening. He's on top of it. He's the first person to kind of put that bug in Madison's ear about maybe something isn't right. Maybe something is going on that the authorities are not telling us about. And of course, she brushes him off, you know, thinks he's just spending too much time on the internet. He's going through some stuff. It's a conspiracy theory. The government would tell us if something was going wrong. Well, we all know that is not the case. And she brushes him off at first, but later in the episode, when she sees him on the school bus, you can tell that she's having a moment where she thinks, he did have something. He did know something, didn't he? You know, and she kind of gives him a slight wave and he just looks away from her. I think at that point when she had seen the viral video of, you know, the man getting shot multiple times and he just keeps coming back and they're beating him and he just keeps coming back, and she had seen that, and as soon as she saw Tobias on the bus, I think there was a light bulb that went on in her head there for a minute. But before that, as the episode progresses, we see Nick back in the hospital bed, and he is right next to another older gentleman, and the guy codes. And in that moment where Nick was thinking about escape, he pauses while they are trying to resuscitate this guy. And you can hear the doctors. Now, I don't know if you caught this. Some of you I'm sure did. Maybe I didn't catch it at first. I had to watch it again, and then I realized these doctors and nurses definitely know something is up and something is wrong, because they were very concerned about, we have to either revive him in 60 seconds or he has to go downstairs, wherever downstairs is. So they tried to resuscitate him twice by shocking him, and then, you know, they were counting the time. They were like, he's been coded 30 seconds. It's like, we have to get him downstairs within 60 seconds. They know what's up. They knew he was going to come back or that he was infected. I'm sure of it. I'm sure that they had seen something happen before, and now I don't know what's downstairs, but I'm guessing, this is kind of a little bit of a prediction, and we may or may not find out the truth in this or not eventually, but I think that when these people die and then they're coming back, that the doctors in the hospital are probably quarantining them somewhere downstairs, wherever that is, in the morgue or somewhere. They're keeping them, you know, together somewhere so that maybe they can run tests, or either way, they know what's up and they're not telling anyone. And I don't know if you noticed this either, but throughout the entire episode, we are constantly hearing sirens, and not just sirens, but ambulances and helicopters throughout the entire episode. Even when things are normal, when they're just driving around, we hear constant sirens, helicopters, you know, ambulances. And, you know, you kind of put that off as background noise, because in every big city, you know, you're constantly hearing that and you're not really hearing it. It's just background noise to you because you're used to it all the time. But I think it was very important in this episode because these sirens were not just regular, everyday, you know, somebody was shot, somebody's sick, somebody's hurt, there's a fire kind of sirens. They are not just background noise. This is the start of something. And it was very important in this episode that we heard that, and that we heard just how frequently these sirens were going off. It also looks like Alicia's boyfriend has gone missing. I kind of like the dude. I'm a little bit sad he's gone missing. I doubt we'll see him again, and if we do, we'll probably see him as an infected. Poor Alicia. So back to the viral video, we see that come out. Travis and Madison had been in the long line of traffic the evening before, and they didn't know what was going on, but they heard the helicopters again. The loudspeakers saying to stay in your car. than the gunshots. So then the next day they're seeing this viral video and people are freaking out because this footage shows a person getting beat, a person eating someone else's neck, and then getting beat and shot multiple times and still getting up and walking. So, you know, people are starting to freak out a little bit, and then people are going missing, and there's rumors and things going around that, you know, it's cause for alarm, and people are starting to worry. The paranoia is starting to set in, and it's really ramping up the show for further episodes. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's really getting us amped up for further episodes to come, because people are just starting to realize something is going on. They cancel school. Madison and Travis are trying to find Nick, and meanwhile Nick was picked up by Calvin, who was supposedly his nice friend. Turns out he's his drug dealer, and Calvin tries to kill him because he can't have word of this getting out. And, you know, obviously Nick is acting a little bit paranoid, so he tries to kill him, but it backfires and Nick shoots Calvin, and he calls his parents. His parents come and they get their first experience with the infected. I'm having a hard time saying infected. Are you guys? The infected and infected. I hate it. I don't like it. I just want to say Walker. But for the sake of the Fear the Walking Dead videos, I'm trying my hardest to say infected and use the proper terms. They get their first experience with it and they are shocked. And I think at that moment, they definitely realize something is going on. What? They have no idea, but nobody should be able to get up after being hit and run over and thrown from a car that far. So that's where the episode ends. It ends leaving them wondering, well, this is crazy, what is going on? And they're going to start piecing together the story that something is very wrong, and they have to then decide how to proceed. So I will be doing a Dead Ahead episode coming up next for Fear the Walking Dead Season 1 Episode 2, which is kind of a predictions video for those of you new to my channel. Feel free to leave comments down below what you liked about this episode, what you didn't like, but you guys have to be reasonable. They can't open a brand new television show and give us tons of action without giving us an idea of who these characters are. Otherwise we will never learn to love them. We won't learn to care for them. It won't matter when they die. They have to make us like these people. Otherwise they don't have a show. If we don't like the people, we don't care about the story. And that's what this episode was about. And I've seen a lot of complaints about, you know, well, it didn't have to be this long and this much character development. Well, you know, it did. It did. They can't show us a ton of action because nothing is really going on at this point. What are they going to show us? They can't throw all the walkers at us at once, all the infected, excuse me, at us at once. Otherwise, there's no surprise. There's no, like, desire to see more of this. We have to love the characters in order to love the show. I mean, we just do. It can't be like The Walking Dead. When The Walking Dead premiered, the apocalypse was already started. Rick woke up and started seeing walkers, and he had no idea what's going on, you know? And we had the comics to back that, so there were millions of comic fans as well watching this show and loving it. I love The Walking Dead. It'll always be my -- but I'm definitely gonna give this show a chance. I'm really loving it, and I can't wait to see what happens next. That's it for this episode, guys. I hope you liked this review. If you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe and give it a like if you liked it. And I will see you guys next time. Have a great day.